made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast, episode 67. Hunter Keister back with
K-Mac. Let's go. Let's get it.
And we are back to discuss another week in sports. We got some crazy NFL offseason news. We got the start and the first couple rounds of the Big Ten men's basketball tournament, as well as the men's Big Ten hockey tournament semifinals happening on Saturday to finish us out. So this was a pretty good week in sports. Had some people get signed. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I did want to start in the realm of college basketball. And with that, let's start from the beginning. And we'll start from Wednesday, which is where the Big Ten tournament
first round
started. So, starting us out, first game from Chicago, we saw Ohio State take on Wisconsin. And Ohio State plays really well, shoots well, defends the three well as well. And they pick up a 65-57 win as the underdog role on Wednesday to pick up the first win of the Big Ten tournament. The next game saw one of the worst teams in the Big Ten get a win as well. 78-75, Minnesota, shocking win over Nebraska. And those two underdogs start the tournament off on Wednesday. And unfortunately, at least for the Michigan Wolverines, this trend would continue as the underdog would win again as Rutgers takes down Michigan. Final score 62-50 to start the day on Thursday. As you can hear Kurt's pretty deep sigh, I'll let him just start with some quick thoughts before we get into this box score and dive into this game some more, as we will for the game that we saw today. But Kurt, I just need your original, just first thoughts and reactions to this really bizarre game for Michigan.
I want to start off by saying this was by far the worst half of arguably any Michigan athletic performance I've ever seen. Take it basketball, football, swimming, hockey, and any of those. This was by far the lowest of the low that I've ever seen a team come out, whether via performance, energy, effort. Zero. There was none of that.
Zeros across the board.
Zero in any of those areas the entire second half. Came out completely flat. First half, we started out pretty alright the first 10 minutes or so. Rutgers kind of roared back a little bit. We were able to get the lead at the end of the half with a 3-point by Joey Baker. Yeah, I mean, the numbers will speak for themselves, but that second half performance, to say the least, was absolutely atrocious. I've never seen anything like it. At one point, we hadn't scored for 10 minutes straight.
Yep.
And we were like 1 from 13. Some shots were definitely open, and some of them just went out for the rim. That'll happen, but nobody showed up the second half. And honestly, the only person that even showed up today was Hunter Dickinson. Without him,
he went away in the second. He went away completely almost in the second. He had a really good first half, but they really game planned him well in the second half and really took him out of the game.
And we knew that was the coach literally said we're going to start doubling him, and they definitely did that. Caused some turnovers, and nobody really played that well. It's just we played way worse than Rutgers, in my opinion.
Absolutely, Rutgers didn't even really win this game or play like they deserved to win. Michigan just played it that much worse, and it actually looked like a pretty dominating game for Rutgers, but really it was just two pretty bad teams. Not bad teams, but bad teams.
Bad
teams playing bad, yeah.
From
two
both
bad
teams.
performances, and yeah, I mean 4 of 21, as I get into the stats a little bit here, 4 of 21 in the second half, 19% shooting. Michigan shoots 34% as a team for the game, 33% from 3, 6 of 18, 12 of 17 from the line, 11 of 16 in the second half. So that's pretty much the only area that improved at all for Michigan was their free throw shooting.
Yeah, you can look at that. You can look at getting out-rebounded again. Multiple offensive rebounds by Rutgers. I mean, I think the cherry on top was that free throw Rutgers missed, and we're boxing out, and nobody even gets the ball. The guard who shot the free throw just goes untouched, puts it right back in.
I think as you talk about this season as a whole, and like what you'll take from this year, like when you think of them in years past, they're gonna think of this play. That's gonna be one of the first plays that comes to my mind when I talk about this game. Is gonna be that play. Just the non-effort and because fan bases don't agree too much, right? All up and down my timeline, everywhere was, man, this team has no heart, no effort given, nobody cares. Usually a whole fan base can't see that all at once.
Oh, no.
And everybody on the Michigan sideline or in the fan base saw that today. And it makes me sick. And you can't really blame Howard for everything, but effort, determination, the will to win, that all starts at the top. And to see guys as lifeless as they were in a must-win game.
Must win.
It's alarming. And, Jawan, he had a really successful season a couple of seasons ago. It's time to hit the reset button. With how they ended the season, you don't know who comes back and how everybody's draft stock looks, but they need a reset big time because this was just unacceptable. And I know you had a lot of close games, but they're still losses at the end of the day.
That's why we are where we are.
Right. What a fitting way to end the year, though, man. Just no effort shown. Just, at least go out on your sword. Go out giving it all that you had. And you just saw these guys lifeless and just, it was sad. It was really, but what is also, that's alarming. Nobody scored more than 10 points in this Michigan offense besides Hunter Dickinson, who puts up 24. That is just a different type of...
Yeah, Buffkin definitely didn't show up too much today, I'll tell you that.
He played...
For as good as he's been playing...
This was...
I mean, not just him, but...
Not just him, for sure, but he played... He definitely had his roughest game of the year, most likely, and, Jed Howard still struggled to shoot. 2 of 8 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3. Just the whole team pretty much struggled, And then, as we kind of get off Michigan here and go to the Rutgers side, they still shoot. Their best player, Cam Spencer, 18 points, 6 of 11. He shoots 2 of 6 from 3. Not bad. Their next highest scorer, 13 points, 6 of 16. Derek Simpson. Rutgers didn't play very well. 24 of 61 from the field. They shoot 39% as a whole. We shoot 34%. This game was just two really bad... it was just a really bad game to start the day.
Just a bad game.
In what ended up being a pretty good day, in what's been a pretty good day at Big Ten basketball. And underwhelming first game. Michigan loses, ending their season. I really hope they don't go into the NIT. I know they will be hosting it because it is at Chrysler this season. So who knows if that plays into it at all, but...
I hope they don't. I hope.
I think it's almost... Michigan is a national championship winning caliber basketball team. I don't know. I think the NIT is beneath them. People may say...
Completely.
People can say what they want about that, but I think the NIT is beneath them. What do you do? Somebody brought this up earlier. Well, it's not 2004, 2005 when basketball was at its peak. The NIT is a joke. Are you gonna hang an NIT banner up?
No, you can't.
Come on. But let's get off Michigan here. They get the loss. They lose by 12, ending their season. Moving on, Ohio State, Iowa. As I thought this game would be a pretty handedly win for Iowa. The Big Ten had been close, so I kind of expected Ohio State to maybe keep it close. But they get it done. 73-69.
Very surprising.
They get it done as Ohio State looks to try to get that automatic bid to the tournament here with the Big Ten Championship tournament win. And they get a huge win over Iowa. Their freshmen, they come with a new lineup, mostly freshmen playing with that one senior. And Ohio State beats Wisconsin as the underdog. And they beat Iowa as the underdog. And will now go into a 2:30 matchup, against Michigan State tomorrow.
I don't doubt if they win.
Right.
Michigan State hasn't played in a while.
Right.
So, I don't know. In these tournaments, it's kind of just about who gets hot, really.
Right. You see Ohio State starting to click at the right time. Let's see if they can keep that going. They get a convincing win. The game we just finished up watching, Penn State, Illinois, 79-76. Penn State gets the win. A really good game back and forth.
Yeah.
Penn State in the first half was up as much as 10, I believe. I kind of was one away from it during a lot of the second half, but it looked to be a really tight, contested, close second half with Penn State edging them out. Penn State had the lead, and then kind of just a free throw game the last 30 seconds or so that kind of dragged it out and made the score look closer. But Penn State gets the win. They move on and send Illinois and the home crowd sad and home already.
Good.
So bad. Too bad. So sad, Illinois. Too bad.
Good luck next year. Better luck next year.
And then we have Maryland, Minnesota getting ready to tip off 9 p.m. Eastern as the Thursday matchups finish up.
Yeah. So then for tomorrow, Purdue's going to play Rutgers, Michigan State, Ohio State, Northwestern will play Penn State, and then Indiana plays the winner of the game tonight.
Yep.
Okay.
So that sets up some pretty decent matchups. Rutgers playing terrible Michigan, but getting the win. I expect them to have to really change things up, or they're going to get ran off the floor.
Apparently they played Purdue pretty close to games they've had this year, but I don't know. They didn't look too good today, but everything changes so much game to game.
Right.
As we've seen, obviously.
You know what they say, survive and advance in March. And, Rutgers tried to do just that with a ugly win over Michigan, and now they got to go take on the number one team.
Absolutely.
Should be a pretty good day of Friday basketball to follow up this Thursday. It's unfortunate Michigan's already out of it, but better luck next time.
That's all you can do at this point.
Yep.
Reflect and adapt and make some changes.
All right, I think that'll do it for our Big Ten basketball tournament coverage. Let's get into some NFL news. There was some signings that were made this week, some pretty big ones. Kurt, let's get into that a little bit.
Well, obviously, I think the biggest one for sure this week, we should start off with Derek Carr going to the Saints.
Woo! DC! Viable quarterback. We're going to talk about Derek Carr going to the Saints.
Yeah.
What do you think that does for a pretty lackluster offense from the Saints last year? I mean, you saw the pieces. You saw the glaring, obvious hole at the quarterback position with Red Rifle and Winston coming in and trying their best, but really not having too much success. So Derek Carr, really, new city, really got to prove himself. Considers himself a top quarterback in this league, but really hasn't shown it, especially with what Las Vegas was able to give him. Yeah, was able to give him last year, especially with guys like Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
And Josh Jacobs, who played really well. So it's a little alarming, but I really think, and I was telling my friend Devin, he likes the Raiders. I was telling him I think he's obviously on the fence and serious doubts in Derek Carr, watching him as long as he did. But I said, I really think this could be he just needed a new city, And you really can't say that by a lot of people, but Derek Carr really does have it. He's shown flashes, but he's also shown wild inconsistencies. So I just think that it possibly could just be a new scheme, new team, I don't know, maybe you can attest to this more. Would you consider the Raiders to have a good offensive line? Because I didn't consider their offensive line to be very good.
I feel like they have a decent offensive line. Maybe better for run blocking more than pass blocking because Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing last year. Just a fun fact. I would probably say the Saints line is arguably probably better, to be honest with you, than the Raiders one. it's probably on par, or if not better, than the Raiders' offensive line.
Right.
I would definitely say that. Because the Saints always draft linemen. I feel like they always have at least one or two Pro Bowl linemen. Or at least really good ones. But they signed him for a 4-year contract, $60 million, fully guaranteed. And then he'll get a couple more million as the contract goes on. I definitely like this move. He's a better quarterback than Dalton and Winston. That's for sure at this point in their stage in careers. I guess it kind of just, the question is, do you still... I think you still got to draft someone long-term within the next couple of years, though. I definitely think he's a solid filler for the next couple of seasons. You could argue he's never had a defense really with the Raiders outside of Khalil Mack, but their defenses have never really been that good. But leading back to last season, that was probably the best year as far as him being surrounded by offensive talent. They didn't make it to the playoffs 2 years ago. They lost in the first round against the Bengals. And the only other time they had made the playoffs was, 2016, I think. And he got hurt and they lost to the Texans. Connor Cook had to play. I don't even know how I remember that, but I just remember it. So I definitely would say he's a solid option, but I'm not expecting the Saints to become a heavy favorite in the NFC, but I definitely think they're the favorite to win that division.
Yeah, now, yep, for sure.
I would say right now they probably have the best quarterback in that division because we don't even know who. I don't even know who the other teams are going to put out there.
Carolina's a question mark. Atlanta's definitely a question mark, and then Tampa Bay, just so many questions. Yeah.
And the Saints really only lacked a quarterback last year that was at least reliable, and Carr will definitely provide that. He might have a couple bad games, like last year when the Saints played the Raiders, for example, they beat them 26-0.
Right.
So, definitely could be inconsistent at times, but then there's times where he can be super clutch. I mean, he's got 20-plus game-winning drives since he's been in the league, so...
Showing flashes for sure.
Yeah. I definitely think it's a good move. I mean, it's better than what they had, and there was nobody really out there, unless the Saints were going to trade heaven and earth for Lamar Jackson. Right. But I don't even think they got that. I don't even think they can do that with the way their salary cap situation is.
Right.
So I like the move, and I think this puts the Saints in a good spot for the season. Some other big moves this week. Let's see. There was Daniel Jones got a big contract.
Daniel Jesus
Jones. They didn't mess around with him. They know he's him.
I don't know, man. That's a lofty deal.
Pretty bold.
That's a lofty deal.
That's pretty bold.
The way I looked at it, I was telling Kurt earlier, the way I looked at this Daniel Jones deal is the Giants really know they're not getting much better. They're not going to get much better than Daniel Jones right now, especially trying to draft somebody. It's really like you have who you have. He's improving, making improvements. I feel like you pay him and you just try to kind of build your team around him and see what happens.
Yeah.
But really, there's really wasn't too many other options. Like Kurt said, you're not going to go and trade your whole entire future away to Baltimore to try to get Lamar. You're not really going to draft anybody. You might as well just give Daniel Jones. I don't know, but that's a little premature.
Wonder what they're going to do with Saquon.
Right, that's a little premature to give Daniel Jones all that money. And now, because Saquon's going to want his too, so.
Oh, yeah.
After that tag year.
Yeah, so that happened. Geno Smith got a big contract after his great season this year. The Seahawks still say they're open to drafting a quarterback, and they pick within the top 7 because they got the Broncos' first-round pick. So, kind of curious to see how that goes. Maybe they will draft someone, I don't know, but they gave Geno a big deal. Good for him. He deserves it. He's been bounced around the league. So I feel like that's pretty fair.
Super happy for Geno.
Definitely, the whole NFL fan base should be pretty happy with that.
Right.
And then I think the biggest thing is the development with the Lamar situation and the Ravens only placing the transition tag, whatever that is. I think that means other teams can offer up first round picks and trade for them if they want to. But a lot of teams have said no to that. I can't believe the Ravens are going to muff this. They're really going to muff this.
Yeah.
They're going to... Because it doesn't make any sense, because if you tag him and then say he balls out this year, you're just going to have to pay him more next year.
Yeah, it's really like, as an organization, are you betting on him not to play as well, so then you can say, now you don't deserve that money? But then you're also, with a double knife, he balls out, y'all make like the division or championship game in the AFC, he's now going to cost you way more than he would have.
Because now he just said, well,
you made me play out a tag year, and I balled out. Now, pay me, I'm going to leave. So, I don't know if I like the Bengals. I don't know if I like the Ravens, and how they're handling this. No. I think it's an exact situation to Daniel Jones. Who are you going to go if you're Baltimore and draft or go out and get that's going to give you the same production as Lamar Jackson? You're really not going to find it. And I think you bite it, you pay him what he wants, and then you build your team however the way you can after that. It's the way of the league.
It's the way the game is now.
The way the game is now. And trying to lowball him to build your team out isn't going to work, and it's going to make him leave, and then you're back to square one with no quarterback, and you're...
Because I remember we talked about this you know what this all comes back to? This all comes back to Cleveland paying Deshaun Watson that crazy $200 million plus guaranteed contract. Because all the other quarterbacks saw that, and now they're using that to their advantage.
Yes, literally, yep.
And in Lamar's case, he's saying, well, I won MVP my second year starting. I led the league in passing touchdowns. Yep. I deserve this, and if not more.
If Watson's getting this, then you've got to give me at least this.
Exactly.
And it gave him a lot of leverage. Really bad.
And I heard the other day, I don't know if this was true or not, the internet, can be a good resource or a bad source.
Right.
I saw and read that the Ravens and Lamar had a differential of $100 million.
Ooh.
Because Lamar doesn't have an agent. Him and his mom represent himself. He doesn't have an agent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which is pretty rare. Usually most athletes have agents, but he doesn't. Yeah. So.
And then usually you don't want to see you get your... I feel like that's the easiest way to cause problems in family is getting, when you're trying to negotiate for millions of dollars. I mean, I know it's your mom and you probably have the best relationship with her out of anybody, but it still leaves the opportunity for something to go wrong there especially when you're a hundreds of millions of dollar quarterback and you're trying to negotiate yourself for these hundreds of millions of dollars. In my opinion, I guess I would probably let the professional handle it. If I was him, but hey, I'm not in his spot, and if he's gonna get this record-breaking contract, I guess he might as well represent himself, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it screams to me like if he's your guy, you gotta buy in.
Yeah,
but that's gonna be a lingering thing throughout this whole offseason. I don't doubt that. So I'm sure. As the season goes on, we'll learn more, but Baltimore, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because without this man, you guys are going to be done for a while. That's all I know.
How does this whole situation make you feel as a Pittsburgh fan? Pretty optimistic?
I mean, I'm cool with it either way because it's a tough spot because as an outsider, you see them investing all of that money into him. And I get it. And I'm for it because I want the teams in my division to be good. I don't want to beat up on scrubs.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if they don't sign him, they're going to suck, and that's fine with me because then at least that's one team out of the way. But I don't know. We don't even get to play him hardly ever.
Right.
Because unfortunately, he's been hurt the past couple of years when we were supposed to play the Ravens. So I don't know. It's wild because then the Bengals are coming up in the same situation with Joe Burrow. That'll be the next one.
I don't think they'll be dumb.
They will not.
I don't think they'll play with their fluid.
The Bengals won't play around.
I think you already get into a Super Bowl. You're getting anything you ask for. Blank check that, man. Blank check.
No, they'll let Joe write that one.
Yep.
They'll let him write the numbers.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, outside of a couple other minor things, that's really been the big headlines this week. Derek Carr with the Saints, Geno getting a contract, and Daniel Jones. But then Lamar Jackson, an MVP, doesn't get a contract.
Right. Alarming.
That's all that needs to be said.
Yeah, all right. Well, I think we will end this off covering the Big Ten hockey tournament that started last weekend. Okay, so we left off. Michigan had won their series on Saturday. Penn State stayed alive, and Michigan State stayed alive as they both forced Game 3s for Sunday. Going into Sunday, Ohio State takes on Penn State from Columbus, and Ohio State actually comes away with a 3-1 victory. And it sets up another game at Yost Ice Arena, Michigan versus Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to that one in a second. Michigan State, road team. They lost the first game 1-0. They come back Saturday with a 4-2 road win. Sunday they come out, 4-2 road win. Michigan State knocks off Notre Dame at home. And they will take on Minnesota. So the Big Ten tournament hockey semifinals is Ohio State at Michigan and Michigan State at Minnesota.
Single elimination.
Single elimination to find out who goes to the championship game.
Oh, man.
Gonna be wild.
So Michigan plays Ohio State Saturday, 6:30.
Yep.
When does Michigan State play Notre Dame?
9 o'clock Saturday.
Oh, wow. So back-to-back.
Yep. That's gonna be some wild hockey.
That's gonna be that's gonna be a pretty good games.
You just saw this Michigan and Ohio State team face off. One game from Columbus, 3-3, going to a shootout. Ohio State gets the win. You won't see that this time, where if it's overtime, it's continuous till a winner. So Michigan won't have the chance to be beat in a shootout this time. They play in Columbus, or they play outside in Cleveland, and they win 4-2 to Ohio State. And then if we go back a little bit further in the year, I do want to check out the Michigan-Ohio State series from Yost. Oh, yeah, I remember this. All right, so looking at this last series, the first game, the Friday game from Yost, Ohio State beat us 7-2 the first meeting.
We lost 7-2?
7-2 the first meeting in Ann Arbor.
Holy crap.
The next game, Saturday, we beat them 4-2 in Ann Arbor. But, that's rough. They exploded for 7. Michigan's going to have to be on their A game. Portillo's going to have to play.
You know, I think I was here when that happened, because I think that was the game where as soon as the first period started, they scored on Michigan. I swear that was that game.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
I was like, the game just started.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one Saturday.
Right.
I don't doubt that.
Gonna be a good night of hockey. Got basketball going on, Tournament West too. Gonna be a good weekend of sports. And we'll probably get into some of this March Madness coming up soon, as this bracket's gonna be coming out after Sunday. We'll be able to talk some of that. So, but I think this was a good one. I think about half an hour, got everything covered. Set up for we can probably do another. Maybe a Sunday or Monday after Selection Sunday comes out for basketball and
certainly
these tournaments come out for hockey. We can recap that a little bit, but for this one, I think that will do it. Kurt, did you have anything else you want to add?
No. Then we got it. Got everything covered.
Think that'll do it. We will catch you guys next time
on the Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast.
Let's get it.
Let's go. Peace out.
Peace.